Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Tonight is the January 24, 2019 Town Board meeting. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just a few comments before we begin. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope everyone had a nice holiday season. Yeah. Just a couple of items that I did right after our meeting was on the 13th, so I did have quite a few other obligations before the holidays kicked off. On Monday the 17th, I met with Global Foundries here at Town Hall. We had continuing discussions about water and sewer. This has been an ongoing situation for the past 4 years, probably longer. We're trying to attain a assignment of water from Global Foundries and Dutchess County Water Wastewater Authority for 500,000 gallons of water a day. Global Foundries has a contract for 2 million gallons a day with the county and only uses about 1.5 million. So we want to use the other 500,000. East Fishkill, we want to use this for this assignment so we can have a pot of water to draw from as we have economic development and other businesses that move into that corridor. There's been, a little resistance, I should say, maybe not resistance, confusion, or how to get this done with Dutchess County and the Poughkeepsie Water Board, because Poughkeepsie Water Board enacts a take-or-pay contract, which you have to pay for everything, whether you use it or not. So that is not very economically feasible for some businesses or for the town. So we began to have discussions also about their sewer facility. If East Fishkill could run that facility, we can expand to other areas of the town, and even other municipalities are wanting sewer that adjoin our town. So we've been doing everything to ensure that this will be successful for our town, including it all generates together that everything we've been doing, the Business and Economic Development Committee, the Intermunicipal Water and Sewer Alliance that we have with the other towns, Fishkill, Wappingers, now LaGrange has entered into it, town of Village of Fishkill, Village of Wappingers. We all want to have joined together to have this alliance so we can help each other with water and sewer. If we have to rely on these other bureaucratic agencies, we're not going to really get any further. And the days of us relying on the big business like IBM or something like that, like Global Foundries, those days are over. So we need to have this agreement in place for this water assignment for our success. And I'm kind of a pain in the butt with them. I'm not going to stop until East Fishkill gets what they need. That's probably why I've made a few adversaries in these different agencies, but I'm not here to be their friend. I'm here to do the job for what's needed for our town. So I'll keep everybody posted on that. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more movement with the water assignment. On Tuesday, the 18th, I hosted another meeting here with Ron Hicks, the Deputy County Executive, Dr. Viadin, he's a commissioner of the Dutchess County Department of Health, Supervisor Bob Lacola from Fishkill, Supervisor Richard Thurston from Wappingers, City Administrator Anthony Ruggiero from Beacon, and the Beacon Mayor Randy Casal, and Dutchess County Legislator John Metzger was here. It was a very productive meeting. We discussed issues that all the municipalities are having with the Department of Health. There's been a huge turnover in that department, and a lot of us municipalities are feeling it. Some of the things that we discussed were small businesses and the change of use permits. There always seems to be an issue there when another business comes into town to an existing space. So we tried to discuss the problems with that. We discussed some of the newer employees and engineers who are reviewing some of our municipalities' cases. And sometimes their lack of experience, field experience, it kind of paralyzes the workload there. So it's slow going, and we really need to have things streamlined. We discussed the possibility of some towns, especially East Fishkill, doing a self-certification. I've been working with the town attorney, the town engineer about this issue, and we are going to submit something to the Department of Health very soon. But overall, it was a very productive meeting. All the other towns and cities, they were happy. The federal government shutdown has affected East Fishkill. We were scheduled to have meetings with the EPA about the Hopewell North Water District, and we had to cancel that because the EPA is furloughed. This pushes back our timetable and theirs for completion date. Now, as soon as they get back, we will reschedule the meeting. It's important for us to know how much money and when our town will be reimbursed for what we are laying out for part of that project. So that is what we are haggling over right now. It's a big project. It's I think over $23 million, and we're hopeful for the completion, and so is the people who are going to benefit from the water. So I'll let you know when we will reschedule that meeting. The beginning of the new year, I had a meeting with the IT manager, our town's IT manager, and Sullivan Data. They're our contractor for IT. We'll be doing a huge IT overhaul this year. It's very sorely needed. Our IT infrastructure is very aging, and this will help all our departments, including our police department. It's kind of like when you have an old car. It gets rusty, it gets less dependable, and you keep throwing money at it to fix problems, but the car's still rusty. So that's the same that goes for IT infrastructure. It ages, functionality decreases, the cost of maintenance and repairs increase. So to have success with this computer security today, it requires cost-effective, efficient, dependable IT infrastructure. So that's what we've been working on. We have an informal plan as of now. Our IT manager and consultant will be drafting up a final plan and costs. The town comptroller has sat in with me with those meetings, and as soon as we have a final tally, a final plan with the costs, I'll propose it to the town board. This is something we can't be without, really. We really can't be cheap about this. It has to be done correctly. There's a lot of very sensitive, critical resident information that the town handles, and we have to be diligent that we make sure that we have the proper protocols in place and security to ensure the safety of their information. On January 14th, I held a department head meeting here. I had 2 department head meetings last year, which they went very well. This year, I'm going to try to have one every quarter. It's important to get the feedback from the department heads, especially with certain issues facing their individual respected offices. It's a big town, and it's hard to get a handle on exactly what is issues going on in each department. So it's good that I have a good open rapport with the town department heads. So it is beneficial to me. I do try to talk to them, but this is something I like to improve upon, so I'm going to try to have more department head meetings. But I usually do have weekly meetings, if not daily meetings, with the police, the highway, the finance, legal, and engineering department. Those departments are the main hub of the town that we do every day, have everyday projects going on. So I do speak with them daily, but I will try to have more department head meetings as we go on. I have to mention the huge storm event we had this past weekend. Thank God it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. Considering the very cold temperatures, our highway department did a fantastic job. Thank you. They worked overnight on Saturday night into Sunday afternoon. They had everything sanded and salted for the cold weather, but it's problematic with the cold weather. The salt doesn't work the way you want it to. What's the temperature, Ken? 13 degrees?
15 is the cutoff.
15 degrees. After 15 degrees, the salt really doesn't work to melt the ice. So if you see some ice on the ground, well, with all the rain and the warmth today, it all melted, thank goodness. But if you saw that there was ice on the ground, it wasn't because we didn't salt or sand. It's just that the cold temperatures didn't let it work the way it's supposed to. Also, I had several conference calls on Friday and Saturday for the storm event with the county executive's office and the Dutchess County Emergency Response. They host these calls whenever there is a large storm event. Usually, most of the mayors and supervisors from Dutchess County are on the call. Plus, there's personnel from NYSEG and Central Hudson on the calls as well, and also the county DPW. They keep in contact with us, so we have their emergency numbers, and they also have our emergency numbers for our police chief and our highway superintendent. They have a very good process there that we go through with these conference calls, so I appreciate that they do have them. I'd also like to mention, tonight before the meeting, I filmed my first State of the Town address. I delivered a copy to the town board. It will be playing on Channel 22 either before or after the meetings when they show on Channel 22. I feel it's important, part of our government, that I, as your chief elected official, give a report to the citizens on our status. Basically, I give a financial report and what our overview of accomplishments were this year and what our priorities are for the next year. One thing I'd like to mention now that I mentioned in my address is how unbelievable our fire district and emergency services are in East Fishkill. It's a completely volunteer department. They handle over 2,700 calls last year, and that's a huge number for a volunteer department. They have over 280 active members and logged over 12,000 training hours last year alone. The reason why I like to highlight these stats is that these men and women, in addition, of course, to our police department, they keep our town safe. But not only do they keep us safe, this saves the residents of our town a tremendous amount of money. This is another reason why we need more fire and EMS volunteers. So if you are interested to help out your town in fire or EMS, you get great training, and all you have to do is visit one of the local firehouses to sign up. So please, if you want to, go see them. They are very proactive, they care about our community, and we're very proud to have them. So with that, that's all I have to say. With that, can we have the roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Cassidy?
Present.
Councilman Marinaro?
Present.
Councilman Franco?
Present.
Councilman Beepin?
Present.
Supervisor D'Alessandro?
Present. Okay, we have no minutes tonight. Oh, we do, but that'll be after. Okay, we have one public hearing tonight. We're going to open the adjourned solar law that we had last month. Do I have a motion to open the adjourned solar law?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public hearing is now open. Everybody has received last month the solar law. We had discussion about it. Was there any changes did anybody have any changes you called the attorney about, or any other concerns?
It was just a request to modify one of the preambles on the statement of purposes.
Okay. Okay, so besides that,
I think it was number 3, right, Counsel? Yes. So we just delete number 3. It's just a preamble clause.
okay, so delete
Doesn't change the substance of the law.
number 3, B, section B, number 3 will be deleted. Okay. But besides that, we have different tiers of solar projects that we have identified in this law. Depending on how large of a project that you will have, you fall into one of these tiers. Tier 1 basically is the regular roof-mounted systems that you have in your homes, that most people do have, so that will be allowed. The Tier 2 is the ground-mounted ones. So we have certain regulations for those because we just can't have these popping up anywhere. And there are federal guidelines also, right, Tom, for some of these that are automatic?
Yes.
Right. And the Tier 3 are something that is not, probably like I should say, a hybrid of Tier 1 and Tier 2, something maybe very larger. So we do accommodate all different types of solar projects, but we did need some guidelines on what we should do or people when they put an application in. Did any of the board members have any comments? Anybody from the public wish to speak?
Have you ever engaged in contract with a solar
Yes, they have, what is that we save with that, Mark? We save 1% of the energy that,
5%. It's
Oh,
basically a
5%.
5% credit that,
so the
or
town receives a
discount if you wanna look
5%
at that.
credit. Oh, that was done, yeah, a while ago. Last year? No, before last year,
I think it was
2016?
before last year.
Yeah,
They're not
2017.
operational
They're
yet.
not operational yet?
It's not
No,
operational
it's
yet.
not.
I think they're clearing the property right now.
They just finalized all their financing, so I guess it's going to be this spring.
But yeah, that was 2017, I believe, that was done. Any board members have any comments, questions, concerns?
So I have a question, Scott or Mark, in the section where it says, once, I guess, the plant Tier 3 is no longer in use, and they have to disassemble the facility, I assume that some of these are going to be in place for 20 or 25 years. I believe that we put a 125%
Right, there's
cost.
a formula that the state has promulgated.
Right.
That when these are constructed based on the cost, the size of it, there's an amount for decommissioning, and then they're required to post a bond for 125%.
Right. But we're not sure if that's going to be sufficient at the time, if in case.
Well, I mean, that's somewhat.
2% adjustment here,
Yeah,
right?
and
Annually?
there's an annual adjustment, and also, that's the industry standard right now.
Right.
So obviously, no one really has experience about
Right.
the far end. But these are all surface mounted, there's no foundations, so shouldn't be as costly as one might think to dispose of them.
Can I ask when, they granted permission to put the solar panels, are they grandfathered in, or?
Yeah, no,
if
there's,
that property is sold, what
as-
happens?
Well, as the supervisor indicated, there's three types of installations, Tier 1, 2, and 3. Tier 1 are the roof mounted on the houses. There's no change in those regulations. You have to get a building permit, test out the roof, all of those things. That's all the same. There's no change in that part of it.
How about if they're ground mounted?
If they're ground mounted on the property of a
Yeah.
residence.
Yeah.
And that's Tier 2.
Okay.
So there are now setback requirements, so they have to meet the same requirements as if you built a shed or something, have to be in from your property
So
line.
if that property is sold, it's fine without anybody else going to?
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
Any other comments from the public or the board? No? Okay. So with that, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Do I have a motion to adopt the negative declaration and the solar law?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. We have a solar law. Second public hearing, we will have to adjourn. That is for the townwide water improvement area because we did not have the meeting with the EPA. And this was directly impacts this borrowing possibly. So do I have a motion to adjourn the town water improvement area for Hopewell North Water District to February 28, 2019?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Okay. Has everybody received the December 13, 2018 minutes? Has there been any alterations?
No, there's been no
No?
changes.
Nothing, no changes, okay. Do I have a motion to approve the December 13, 2018 minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. We have two additions to the agenda tonight. The first is authorizing attendance for 2 police officers to a training program. And the second is designating Brandon Tobin as an unpaid town aide. We will do those last. mention that. We do have something for receipt and file. Everybody has a copy of the Dutchess County Safety, Transportation Council's safety assessment of Beekman Road. So, back in December, was that, Scott? Yes. Kenny? Kenny and Scott, our town engineer and our highway superintendent, did help and attend this safety assessment, which there has been some problems on Beekman Road. Basically, we have posted this, the clerk has posted this on the
Yes,
website.
it's posted on the website under residence section under the current projects.
Excellent. So if anybody wishes to view it and see what the county's assessment was, please go ahead and do that. Basically, they have indicated that there are problematic areas on Beekman Road that are by the Carpenter Road intersection, that lane or that area of Beekman Road is heavily traveled at a higher rate of speed, and that there are many accidents. There has even been one fatality in the last 7 years, and that they have proposals of what to do. Basically, the county doesn't have much money to fix these sort of things that really need to be fixed, which is to straighten out the road on that bad curve there. So they have other processes to do with signage, and what else, Scott? What else can they fix that with?
Well, they're talking about various things, repairing guide rail, signage, possibly some beacon lights in the future, possibly some high-friction pavement in certain areas. So depending on what the issue is, there's different solutions, possibly a traffic light at Beekman Road and southbound to Conic State Parkway.
Well,
That
those were more costly
More
fixes,
costly.
which they
But they
said
are
that were
evaluating them, yeah.
probably not going to happen. So if you do live in that area, if you could please review this assessment, and if you have concerns, please call the county to tell them that you have concerns and that you feel that they should be addressed properly. That, if you want to kick the can with the cost of the fixes, sometimes that is not the best procedure to follow. But it is on the website, so please take a look at that. With that, we start the resolutions tonight.
Courtesy of the floor.
Courtesy of the floor?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I missed that. Courtesy of the floor, this is the time of the meeting where anybody wishes to come up and speak on anything on the agenda tonight or any other general town issues. Mr. Damaso, how are you?
Sure, good evening.
Happy New
And
Year.
Happy New Year to you all. Thank you for all your service. I have a question in regards to one of your comments, and that being the supervisor's comments regarding Global Foundries and the 2 million gallons a day and town's interest in the residual 500,000 gallons. If Global Foundries were to go under for some reason or another, and there was nobody occupying that space to utilize that water, and we, East Fishkill, developed around the utilization of that 500,000 gallons, would we then be on the hook for 2 million gallons?
Well, that's why I wanted the 500,000 that's not being used, because they're already being paid for. So Global Foundries pays for 2 million gallons a day, but they only use 500,000. So their contract states that they can't assign it unless it's approved by Dutchess County Water Wastewater, the Poughkeepsie Joint Water Board, and who else?
That's all.
That's it. Those two entities have to agree for the assignment for East Fishkill to take that assignment. Now, I understand that, and we all understand that if something happens with Global Foundries, then we have to renegotiate. And I'd be willing to do that. But first, I want them to give us the assignment so we have the chance to use that water. So if I have a user that needs 150,000 gallons a day, right now, I don't have that.
So it's not, the intent is not for residential utilization, it's for industry or business.
Business
utilization.
development,
I see.
that's
Okay,
right.
all right. So there's still, my curiosity is, will the county or Poughkeepsie still supply a 500,000 gallon block,
If they leave,
yeah.
so this is the problems that we discuss, and this is one of the issues that are very disturbing to me. They don't have right now they don't know what will be the impact of the water. We're at the end of the line. They take the water from the Hudson, they treat it right there at the facility, which is right there at the Hudson, right by Marist College, and they send it all the way down the county line. So the Dutchess, the Poughkeepsie Joint Water Board, they are the ones who provide the source, okay? And the treatment of the water. So that's one person, that one entity you have to enter into a contract with. The second is Dutchess County Water Wastewater, which owns the pipe that transports the water.
Okay.
So they don't know what will happen at the end of that line where it reaches Global Foundries, that's the end of the line. If we're not running 2 million gallons a day into that pipe, taking it, how old will that water be when it reaches us, because we're not going through the overturn of the water? So we have asked them to do some water modeling and other costly things to look at this, but they have been hesitant. So it's more problematic for them if they don't have some sort of plan in place for when Global Foundry leaves. For me, it would be very easy for me to get the water from them give us the assignment. I'm not waiting for them. That's why I've entered into negotiations with call it the Southern Dutchess Coalition, Fishkill, Wappingers, LaGrange.
Okay.
We
So
are
that you can
going,
further, pipe the water further out?
we're gonna
when you
help
guys-
ourselves if they don't wanna help us.
I get it, it's a good concept. Now, the age of the water, I realize it's
problematic.
hypothetical. Are you talking about for bacterias or sediment? or-
Well, a few years ago, if you remember, there was a
Well, Hopewell
problem.
Glen was,
That was the trihalomethane that was produced with the breakdown of the chlorine in the water. And that was resolved by them doing an $18 million fix with the filters up at the county, at the facility where the Joint Water Board treats the water. But, we don't know. We don't know. They don't know. So,
Okay, so then the filtration ultimately could become incumbent on East Fishkill if they cannot create a
no,
fix there?
well, if the water, if they do some water testing and show that the water is not usable at the end of the line because there's not enough usage, then,
We're not interested?
who's gonna use it?
Okay. All right, thank you for that. Secondly, regarding Hillside Lake and any kind of planning or scheduling and...
Yes, I sent an email out around Christmas. Did you get it? I CC'd you.
I did.
So right now, we're planning to meet with,
Stephen Gruber?
Stephen Gruber, thank you, and to have a timeline, a strict timeline put in place, because we want to implement the grant in the springtime. Now, we have the valve open, and we have opened it even further, so we need to get that lake as low as possible. So we're hoping that we can do that come the springtime. That's our goal.
Okay, so we're still, pretty much, that's,
We're still on the timeline that we'd like, but, we had a tremendous amount of water.
I know,
Rainy season.
even today.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just a couple of things. At the last meeting, you had mentioned about cleaning off the vehicles from the snow and cleaning the windows. I was wondering if you could post that on Channel 22.
Sure.
Give
For every-
Carol,
yeah,
give
the
Carol a little work to do.
Was that, you asked the chief, what was that issue again?
Well, that had to do with, sheets of ice flying off people's roofs.
The
because
roofs of the cars, right,
Because it's
okay.
not them that's, behind somebody. And the windows, I see them passing by with a little rub on the front window like this, and you can't see out of the sides. So if you could post that, that would be good.
Sure.
And I just want to make an acknowledgement, or pay an acknowledgement to one of the guys that used to plow Hillside Lake for many, many, many years. His name was Robin. I miss seeing him in there, but he was replaced with some good people. but I just want to thank him for all the years that he spent in Hillside Lake, and always did a great job, always. And,
Kenny, make sure you tell him.
well, he's supposed to watch 22, and he'll, you know. And,
I'm sure
one-
Robin knows.
Huh?
He's in Wikipedia now, though.
Oh, okay. And one more thing, they have a flashing light for the rail trail. I believe it's on, Lake.
376,
Huh?
on 376?
Is it on 376 or Lake Walton Road?
Lake
It's
Walton.
on Lake Walton,
Oh, I thought there's not one on 376
and that's
too?
my-
That's not flashing.
huh?
That's not flashing.
Well, they don't have one there. You know, they have the blinking light to let you know that it's the rail trail. I don't understand how they figure something that makes sense is good in one place and not good in the other. So, I don't know who could do anything about that, but I think it would be pretty
I'll have
advantageous. to-
Councilman Beepan
All right, all right.
Been
Okay,
notified.
thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak on any general town issues or anything on the agenda tonight? No? Okay, with that, we go to the resolutions. Resolution 1. Deputy Supervisor, would you read that?
Gotta get the right order then.
It says number 1. R1. Take it easy.
No glasses,
Not
ma'am.
mine? I got it right here. I'll put your new ones up there.
Reappoint legislative aide to the town board, whereas civil service law allows the appointment of a person as a legislative aide to assist the town board in properly managing the town and various operations thereof. And whereas the town board would like to appoint a legislative aide to continue working in the finance to perform such other functions as are assigned on a regular basis by the town board and supervisor, now therefore be it resolved that Claire Hurley, residing in Wappinger Falls, be appointed for 2019 as the legislative aide to the town board, and she shall be paid $16.59 per hour, and benefits shall be provided in accordance with the town's established policy on benefits.
Thank you, Deputy Supervisor. Do I have a motion to reappoint the legislative aide to the town board?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. A lot of these resolutions tonight are housekeeping resolutions that we do yearly, so just in case you don't want to be bored, I just wanted to let you know what they are. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Resolution 2, Councilman Marinaro, would you read that, please?
Reappoint Kathleen Martin as town assessors, whereas Kathleen Martin has served as town of East Fishkill as its assessors, whereas the terms of office of the assessor is fixed by the town law and is set to expire in October of 2019. And it is the desire of the town board to reappoint the assessor at this time to provide for continuing stability in the area of assessment. Now therefore be it resolved that Kathleen Martin be and hereby is reappointed to a new term commencing October 2019 as assessor of the town of East Fishkill. And be further resolved that said term of office shall be 6 years as fixed by state law. Be further resolved that said Kathleen Martin shall continue to meet all the qualification and requirements of the New York State Board of Real Property Services.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize the continuation of shared services for our town assessor?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. So Kathy Martin has been our assessor for a while. She is excellent. She used to be president of the Dutchess County Assessors Association. We do share, this is a shared service we do with the city of Beacon, and it works out very well for us. And last night, I did speak to the mayor today, and they did pass a resolution last night on extending the continuation of shared services for the assessor with us. So any other comments, questions, concerns? No? Okay, with that.
Just a
Yeah.
curiosity, Tom, if in case one of the parties does not agree, what happens?
Well, then, we pay for 4/5 and they pay for 1/5, so
Right.
if Beacon dropped out, she would only have 4/5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just,
But they've reappointed
Yeah,
her
yeah.
now.
Then she'd be out of luck with the 1/5 of the salary.
Hopefully not.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Congratulations to our assessor. Resolution 3, I'll take care of that one. The town board, it's appointing all board chairpersons. The town board on an annual basis appoints a chairperson for each of the East Fishkill Town Board, and it is the desire of the town board to appoint said chairpersons for 2019. That the following be chairperson for each of the listed boards. Lori G. for the Planning Board, Norma Drummond for our Zoning Board, Brent Feldwig for our Conservation Advisory Council, Paul Pesavento for our Architectural Review Board, Michael Kiesler for our Recreational Board, Deborah McCaffrey for our Ethics Board, Thomas Toop for our Board of Assessment Review, and David Paling for our Fire Advisory Board. Do I have a motion to all the chairpersons to be reappointed?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All our chairs, they do a great job. We appreciate all their volunteerism that they do. They are paid a very small stipend. I don't even know what, Mark, what is the stipend that they get paid?
It's $35 a meeting for a regular member and $50 for the chairman.
Okay, so it is a small stipend, but they do a lot of work, and we appreciate them. Is there any other discussion, comments, questions? No? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 4, Councilman Franco, would you read that?
Whereas there is a need to enter into an agreement with Capital Markets Advisors LLC for various projects, and whereas the town board is asked to authorize the supervisor to sign the attached agreement with this firm. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to execute the agreement with Capital Markets Advisors LLC as per the attached.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize, for me to authorize to sign an agreement with Capital Markets Advisors?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? How long have they been with us, Mark?
Since before my time.
Oh, okay.
But they're also the ones who contacted me when the rates were good and suggested we refinance some of our bonds that will save us over $1 million. So
Yeah.
they've done really good work.
We like to save $1 million, so. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Resolution 5, Councilman Bepan, would you read that, please?
Authorizing the supervisor to sign personal service agreement within budgetary lines, whereas there are personal service agreements that are budgeted and require the town supervisor's signature, whereas the town board is asked to authorize the supervisor to sign any personal agreements, service agreements within the budget, and therefore be it resolved that the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to execute all personal service agreements as budgeted for 2019.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 6, authorizing the signing of the intermunicipal agreements and contracts for services with agencies. So yearly, I sign contracts with usually the county for dial-a-ride, and what other ones do we do?
The drug task force.
Drug task force, we participate in.
The SRO officer with the school district.
Wappinger Central Schools, we do have an agreement with them that one of our officers is a school resource officer. Any others?
There are others that
There are others, and,
Senior service program.
oh, the Dutchess County Senior Service Program that we do, I have entered into contract negotiations, or we had last year, for us to utilize the state's salt sheds on Ludingtonville Road and where else? Limekiln Road, so all these come up in various times, so this is authorizing me to sign these contracts. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 7, Councilman Franco, would you read that?
Authorize water and sewer connection fees, whereas there have been recent inquiries about the out-of-district parcel connections to the town's water and sewer systems, whereas the town engineer has sent a memo to the town board with the fees for out-of-district parcels to connect to various municipal water and sewer systems. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board authorizes the water and sewer connection fees for the out-of-district parcels as attached hereto, and be it further resolved that the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to execute agreements with regard hereto.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to authorize water and sewer connection fees?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. So this is very important. We have projects coming to the town and wanting to enter into our water and sewer districts that we have. Now, when they do come, we have a fee for that because the people who are already in that district have paid up to whatever date they started paying for the infrastructure in the ground that provides that water and sewer benefit. So it would be fair to them who has already paid for whoever's going to enter into the district to pay their fair share of the infrastructure. So we have a formula for the water and sewer fees that is fair to the people in the district and for the new user. Is there any other comments or questions? No? Okay, so do I have a motion to authorize? We
Yeah, the
did,
motion
first
and
and a
second.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you very much. Number 8, Deputy Supervisor, would you read that?
Authorizing the 2019 contract with Dutchess County Aspca. Whereas the town of East Fishkill is charged with animal control within its boundaries, whereas it is necessary for the town to have proper shelter for any dogs seized by it. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to execute a contract for the calendar year 2019 with the Dutchess County Aspca, providing for the care of seized dogs, and be it further resolved that the town shall be reimbursed by any dog owner the sum of $70 fee for the seizure of any unlicensed and stray dogs.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize me to sign the contract with Dutchess County ASPCA?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 9, Councilman Marinaro, would you read that?
Authorize a promotion in the police department, whereas there is a vacant position in the police department for a senior police assistant. The chief of police has asked the East Fishkill Town Board to promote the following to the position. And Jerry Quinn, now therefore is resolved that the town board promotes Jerry Quinn to the position of senior assistant due to the retirement of Sally Rotondo. And he will receive $1 an hour added to his current rate. And be further resolved that this appointment shall be effective on January 24, 2019.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize this promotion in the police department?
So moved?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Well, Jerry Quinton is next in line for seniority. Ms. Rotundo retired. She was a great asset. We gave her a proclamation last town board meeting. She will be sorely missed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 10, Councilman Bepan, would you read that, please?
Reappointing member to the Board of Assessment Review. Whereas under the New York State Real Property Tax Law, the town board designates and appoints all members of the Board of Review. And whereas the Board of Review meets during the month of May and June to review assessment complaints filed with it. Now therefore be it resolved that Thomas Tubb will be reappointed as member of the Board of Assessment Review, and be it further resolved that his term as member will be as follows. October 1st, 2018 to September 30th, 2023.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to reappoint the member of the Board of Assessment Review?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Shouldn't we appoint him to the board before we made him chairman?
No, because
No,
the
he's
chair, he's the
always-
chair, and his term is also up.
Yeah, his term's up, but he's been on for
Gotcha,
a long
got
time.
it. You should know better than me now.
paid
Deputy-
attention at the beginning, did you?
I didn't think you ever pay attention, no. So all in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Number 11, Councilman Franco, would you read that?
Sure. Set a public hearing to reopen public hearing for Hopewell West Water District. Whereas the town board has entered in an agreement to purchase Hopewell Service Corporation, and whereas that a map plan and report has been prepared by the town engineer and is currently on file in the town clerk's office. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board does need to reopen the public hearing for February 28th, 2019 at 7 p.m. solely for the purpose of explaining the proposed changes to the map plan and report for said district. Be it further resolved that the town clerk be and hereby is authorized and directed to advertise and publish appropriate notices with respect hereto.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to set the public hearing for Hopewell West Water District?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. So this has been ongoing. We are in the process of purchasing the Hopewell West Water District, or Worley Homes, and we had some changes. We had multiple routes we could have gone for the water source, and we have narrowed them down, so we had to update our map plan and report, and we will give that report at the public hearing. We are continuing to apply for grants, and I will keep the board apprised to that, but we had a good indication. The town engineer has talked to the state health department about that, and we had a good indication that we are encouraged to apply. So that sounds good to me. So we are looking into that, and we'll discuss that more at the public hearing. Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Our additions to the agenda. Authorizing attendance to a training program for the police. Councilman Marinaro, would you read that?
Whereas the chief of police has indicated his desire to send one lieutenant and one police officer to attend the rescue task force for law enforcement, an active shooter response course offered at the State Preparedness Training Center in Oriskany, New York, from February 5th and 6th, 2019. And whereas the expenses of the town will be for tolls and meals. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board does hereby authorize the police chief to send one lieutenant and one police officer to attend the rescue task force for law enforcement, an active shooter response course offered at the State Preparedness Training Center in Oriskany, New York, with expenses for tolls and meals from February 5th and 6th, 2019. And now therefore be it resolved that in addition to the cost of tolls and meals, they shall be paid for their normal salary during this period.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to authorize the attendance to a training program?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. So this training is very good. We will pay for their tolls and meals. The lieutenant's on a diet, right, so he won't be putting in too much for the meals, I hope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. And the second edition is for an unpaid aide. Deputy Supervisor, would you read that?
Whereas Brandon Tobin recently graduated from college and will be starting his career in July 2019 in London. And whereas Brandon is desirous of giving back to the community in the interim, and he is willing to volunteer his time to assist the town, and whereas the supervisor has indicated that there are some projects he can assist with, now therefore be resolved that Brandon Tobin be and hereby is designated as an unpaid aide to assist on projects as determined by the supervisor.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to designate Brendan Tobin as an unpaid aide?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? So this young man is graduated college, and he called and asked if there was anything he could do to volunteer his time. And he asked if there was any non-for-profits or church or something he could do. I said, come here. So, smart young man, so we will utilize him best we can. We have grant applications that he can help us with, and he's in the finance graduate, so possibly in our comptroller's office, so.
He's got to shovel snow.
That too. Over. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay, now we go to town board member comments. Any board members wish to comment? Go right ahead.
Happy New Year, everyone. It's good to be back, and it's good to see everyone again after the holidays. I hope everyone had a safe and restful holiday season. I'd like to first thank Nick, Gina, and the town for putting together the beautiful swearing-in ceremony last week. Really, thank you for that, Nick. It was
Very welcome.
It was a great time. It's something very memorable, too, for my first time running for office. I'd like to commend the chief and the police department for his Coffee with a Cop Day. I was there for a little bit. I think it was a great success. We had Miss Dutchess County there for a little while, too. And I'd also like to recognize that January 9th, even, I know it's a couple weeks late, was National Law Enforcement Day, but I really think it should be a National Law Enforcement Month. So I'd like to thank all of our police officers for everything they do to protect our town, so thank you. Also, I'd like to commend the East Fishkill Veterans Committee for their event at the community center. We had Craig from, he's actually a former CB, or I guess you're never really a former CB, and he shared his story, Craig Marshall. So that was great. We had a great turnout from the town, and I hope to see another one of those soon. I'm sure Councilman Franco will talk about that.
Yes, I will.
And then lastly, I'd like to commend Kenny on his great job during the snowstorm. I know it was a difficult storm to keep up with, but for the most part, we had no complaints throughout the town, and the road seemed to be clear. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman, yeah?
Okay, just want to say thank you to our highway department and Kenny for all the job that you guys did over the weekend, all our first responders, our police. Sorry I missed it, but I came back and everything was good, so we heard no complaints. We like that. As Councilman Beepan mentioned, on January 12th, we had our very first East Fishkill Veterans Committee event. The Vietnam CB, Mr. Craig Marshall, gave a 45-minute presentation on his time in Vietnam. It was well-attended. We had over 60 people there. It was great to see so many veterans and townspeople listening and sharing their stories about Vietnam. Many of us were brought up on one side of the Vietnam War, one that was pretty much framed by the media. Mr. Marshall showed another side, building schools, teaching children, and feeding and clothing families. These are the stories that need to be told, and we look forward to doing more of these events with our veterans, who we are very, very grateful for here in East Fishkill.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Marinette?
Yeah, I, like the Councilman Beepan said, I also attended the Coffee with the Cop. I want to thank the East Fishkill PBA for putting that up. I think it was a great event, great turnout, and great participation by all. The Thursday before the snowstorm, I stopped at the highway department to check with the highway superintendent and the crew over there. We had a talk, we shared some ideas, and I wanted to make sure that everything was under control. I also have to say that from talking to the superintendent and also to the highway main garage person, I see that the highway department is really starting to implementing a lot of stuff that will save the taxpayers a lot of money in the future. So I'm really encouraged, and I want the community to know that it looks like we have a new face of a new highway department. I know that the highway superintendent is always in touch with the town supervisor, and I also was glad to report to the town supervisor that I felt very comfortable that they're on track. So we will keep us in touch and make sure that things go smoothly. Many people are asking questions. This is off the chart. Why our meetings are going so smooth lately? I want to just commend this board. We have a lot of good work to do. We're very busy making sure that East Fishkill is turned around financially. We are busy with all the projects, and this is why when we have meetings, we probably don't have a lot of animosity It's because this board, with a town supervisor, we usually communicate almost every day, sometimes more than once a day. So it is a better environment. There is really a lot of good stuff going on, so I want to just share that with the community. Another note that I want to just bring to the community attention, I spoke to the chief of police. There are some people in the community that approached me regarding pedestrians at night riding their bicycles or walking in the dark. And there's been few people that have said, I almost came to hit that individual. I would like to express, if whoever wants to really do this, that they wear some colorful jackets. You know, we don't want to see anything like that happen in the community. It's a preventive measure. There is no really law enforcement that we could do regarding that, but it's just a preventive measure so that nobody gets hurt on the road. I just have a little report from the police department. It'll be brief. In the December of 2018, the Town of East Fishkill Department handled a complaint from a victim stating that fraudulent purchases had been made on 2 separate credit cards belonging to them, totaling over $11,000. An investigation into this accident was conducted by police officer Scott Grove with the assistance of Detective Kyle Doherty. On January 3rd, 2019, officers arrested Richard Marino, age 55, charging him with multiple counts of grand larceny and identity theft. And Mr. Marino right now, thanks to the Honorable Judge Frederick Romick, is remanded to Dutchess County Jail. So also, they reported that on January 13, 2019, at 9:24 a.m., police officer Scott Schumacher was flagged down by a complainant who stated that there was possible larceny in progress taking place on Route 52 in the area of Old IBM. And that would be the West Complex. Officer Schumacher located 2 subjects, later identified as a gentleman of 56 years old, Luis Ochea, and another gentleman, age 42, Mr. Luciano. And these people were found that they were actually taking private property without permissions. So they also were remanded by Judge Frederick Romick to Dutchess County Jail on a bail, one for $7,500 and another one for $15,000 on a bond. Great work for our police department. I also want to congratulate the police department, the fire department, and the highway department for the great job during our snowstorm. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Councilman. Deputy Supervisor?
Just wish everybody a Happy New Year, and I'd thank the Highway Department and everybody for doing their great job, but everybody already did, so I'll complain. Can you please not do it on an overtime holiday weekend pay next time?
We'll try.
I say the same thing.
Because that guy down there in the far corner doesn't like that line item. But, no, everybody did a great job, and if you're ever in question on how bad roads can be, I'd invite you to go to some of the other neighboring towns which you go to, and they should come over and learn how to plow from our guys in our town. They really should. That's it.
Thank you.
Nick, I forgot to mention one thing, if you allow me. So, I just want everybody to know in the community that anytime that anybody reaches out to any board members regarding any issues to be resolved, I believe that we usually promptly answer those questions. Moreover, came to my attention this afternoon about a situation where I received a call, and we had a meeting yesterday regarding a situation, and I thought it was handled very professional by our staff, and then I come to find out that that person went to the media and kind of badmouthed the town of East Fishkill. I really don't appreciate that. I've been in that situation where people badmouthing me on Facebook and the media. It's not pleasant. I will refrain anybody in the community from using that tactic. We're here to really open mind, to serve the community the best way we can. And I, for one, will not allow any departmental abuses. So I think the supervisor and everybody else is on the same page. So please, let's refrain from any bad publicity on any media locally. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you for that, Councilman. Kenny, Highway Superintendent?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all you guys for, we all do work together, and prior to the storm, Nick had called, Matt had called, and we came up with a plan where the sergeants were in contact with me and my deputy throughout the night, and Councilman Marinaro had stopped by, Councilman Behan called a few times, and we all do work together. We assisted the fire department up on Long Mountain Road. There was a vehicle fire up there. Actually, Robin was the one to assist. And I'd just like to thank all the contractors for all the work they do and all my men and women. And it's a pleasure to all work together. It really is. Between all you guys, the police department, the fire department, things are going well.
So Ken, just a ballpark, so the residents know, when we have a storm event like that, how much does a storm like that cost the town of East Fishkill?
Well, I haven't got all the numbers yet, but quite a bit
I'm
of
dying
hours.
to know, because I asked them
Quite a
today, I
bit
said,
of
I gotta
hours.
know.
I'd have to say, in that storm, we approximately used about 1,000 tons of sand and salt material during that entire storm.
Okay, and what's that equal?
Well, I haven't come up with all, we're figuring it all out. I will
Okay.
have that for you probably before the week's end.
Okay, I will report on it.
I'm hauling back in the material, so when I get it all back to where we were, I'll let you know exactly what
Okay.
it was. You know the hours we put in.
Yeah, a lot of hours, and it's on the weekends, and
You want Monday through Friday.
These are
Snow,
things
but
I
we don't-
worry
we don't
about.
always get that.
He's gonna tell you how much salt. You don't even
it's 1,000 tons. Oh, yeah, I
don't
don't
even
care
care
about
about
the
that, no.
salt.
Together, approximately
The
1,000.
man hours is what I care about, right?
Kenny,
Well, thank you.
as far as the weekend rate, I don't think for the subs that will change. I
No,
mean,
not for the
they get
subs.
straight.
Subs are the
So it's
same
just
no matter
for
what.
for our guys,
men.
right?
Yeah.
Our guys are time and a half, so.
Okay, thank you, Highway Superintendent. Chief of
We don't have
Police.
too many trucks out there anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, and members of the community for allowing me a few minutes to discuss some of the things that are going on in the police department. As Councilman Beepin and Councilman Marinaro discussed, on January 12th, we held our second Coffee with a Cop event at Hopewell Hot Bagels on Route 82. Coffee with a Cop brings police officers and the community together. It's basically a forum to discuss issues and really learn more about each other. As both of the councilmen noted, the event was well-attended by both the community and the police officers and was without question a success. I'd like to thank Mr. John Didio, the owner of Hopewell Hot Bagels, and his staff for hosting and sponsoring the event. The Town of East Fishkill Police Department will continue to hold classes which are free for members of the community in both Stop the Bleed and CRAZE, which is the Civilian Response to Active Shooter Events Training. Our next Stop the Bleed class will be held March 16th, 2019, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Town of East Fishkill Police Department. To date, over 120 citizens have received this potentially life-saving instruction. If anybody's interested in attending the training, please call the police department at 845-221-2111. Ask to speak to Lieutenant John Wood, who can arrange to have you attend the class. And finally, although it's still a relatively new year, I want you to know that your police department has been very busy. Besides dealing with all the weather events, and I concur, the just absolute level of cooperation we have with the highway department just makes everything so much better. We've had recently, our officers have been proactively patrolling our town. To date, the officers have made almost 40 arrests, for a variety of different crimes, including the 2 incidents Councilman Marinero had highlighted, handled dozens of traffic accidents, and issued almost 200 tickets for individuals committing traffic infractions within the town, and that's significantly up over the same time period last year. But in saying this, I just want to remind everybody of the dedicated professional staff, both sworn and civilian, that we have in the East Fishkill Police Department, and our commitment to our residents to do the best to keep our community safe. And with that being said, Mr. Supervisor, that completes my report.
Thank you, Chief. And with that, I'd just like to mention that our swearing-in ceremony that we had is on Channel 22, so please check that out. And also, like I said before, I gave my first State of the Town address. It is on Channel 22. Please look at that, and if you have any questions, please call my office, 221-4303. And I'd just like to thank the board for all your help and assistance with everything that you do. It's a pleasure to work with you all. And our next meeting is our workshop meeting, February 14th. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Wait.
Yes.
Just one commercial real quick before they go away. DC 1013 is putting on Wing Fest at the day of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl party.
Where it's, we from New England like to call that the normal year-end final game of the year. It's a fundraiser. Wing Fest this year, for the first time, is going to be for DC 1013, and it's not going to be for Julie's Jungle, for those that have attended in the past, and it was moved to Super Bowl Sunday
Because of the weather.
because of the weather. That never
5
happened.
o'clock, the doors open. Thank you.
Very good.
Motion to adjourn.
So second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.